This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. In the last session, we were talking about document splitting, in which we understood the different parameters, different points that we'll have to keep in our mind before we proceed, understanding the actual document splitting which will happen while posting any accounting document. So we have to keep this point in our mind that document splitting is a client level configuration. It is applicable for all company codes. It is a one-time configuration in any project. Always keep this in your mind. And after that, when you're posting any accounting document, in general, you're all aware that there is something called accounting document. If you take accounting document, in short, let me take the regular accounting document, cash account debit, capital account credit. Then I'll take some amount, let's say 20,000 and then 20,000. If I put this in number format, if I do a total for it, this is becoming. This is the basic accounting entry which you are going to post in general. Now, while posting this accounting document, you have something called account assignment. There's something called account assignment. This account assignment can be profit center, segment, or business area. This account assignment can be profit center, or it can be a segment, it can be business area. Depending on the business requirement, you are going to decide which one is supposed to be filled up. It can be a single account assignment, it can be two account assignment, it can be three account assignment also, depending on the business requirement, at what level they wanted to look at their financial statement. Now, whenever you are posting any accounting document, it is very clear that in SAP S4HANA system, document splitting is mandatory. In SAP S4HANA system, document splitting is mandatory. We understood document splitting is mandatory in S4HANA. And when you're talking about document splitting is mandatory in S4HANA system, there are certain configurations which are to be followed as part of standard document splitting. In general, in any organization, we will be using SAP standard document splitting methods only. We will be using SAP standard document splitting only. It is very rare that we will be customizing. It is very rare we will not be using standard document splitting. Maximum more than 90% of the cases we will be proceeding with SAP standard document splitting only. Now here you need to understand standard splitting method used is 12. 12 is the splitting method which we will be using. In any project, if you see your splitting method is 12, tomorrow you will be questioned this. When you're talking about a document splitting, which splitting method do we use or which splitting method you have worked on? Then you're supposed to tell that you're using the document splitting method or splitting method 12. This is SAP standard splitting method. Now, when you're posting any accounting document, when we say posting of any accounting document, logic on which SAP is going to split accounting document. For example, if somebody is asking you on what basis system is going to split your accounting document. If somebody is asking you, or if you would like to know on what basis system is going to look at the accounting, system is going to split your accounting document, you need to understand certain basic fundamental. Now the first point, that is the triggering point or the key element for posting any accounting document, is your document type. Okay, first one is your document type. This is the key point. Without a document type, your document cannot be posted. Meaning, whether I am posting any debit or I am posting any credit, I need to segregate, I need to classify, I need to group my debits and credits into one document type. I need to segregate or I need to classify my debits and credits into one document type, which will represent my business transaction. When you are grouping several debits and credits together, you are grouping based on the document type. Document type is representing the nature of transaction or the kind of a business transaction. For example, I may call it as my accounting document, I may call it as my customer document, GL document, I may call it as my logistics document, I may call it as my sales document, I may call it as my payment document, my bank reconciliation document, my asset accounting document. I may classify, I may segregate into several dimensions based on the nature of a transaction. Accordingly, system has provided several SAP standard document type. There are a lot of SAP document types in standard system, which are basically your SA document type, AB document type, KR document type, DR document type, RB document type, W document type, AB document type, AA document type. Likewise, there are so many SAP standard document type. Again, when you are working on any SAP project, majoritarily we will be using SAP standard document types only. It is again very rare. You will be creating a new document type. Else, SAP document types, whatever are predefined in the system, are the ones which most of the clients will be using. Most of the clients will be using SAP predefined document types only. Now, when you're talking about a document type, here you'll have to represent one point called document splitting configuration. When you're talking about a document splitting configuration, from the document splitting configuration, there is one dedicated setting, there is one dedicated configuration which is representing document splitting for document type. I'm not showing the SAP screen. But there is one setting which is exclusively related to document type for document splitting. There is one configuration setting in which all the SAP document types are listed against each document type corresponding business transaction, and business transaction variant is assigned. Against every document type, business transaction plus business transaction variant will be used with the help of, let me write, there is a setting called document splitting for document types. There is one dedicated setting for document splitting for document type. In this, you are going to represent business transaction and business transaction variant. You are going to talk about business transaction and you are going to talk about business transaction variant. These two are connected to document type, and document type is the key point for triggering your document splitting. System is going to understand what is the document type. According to document type, system is going to understand this document type is corresponding to which business transaction. This document type is corresponding to which business transaction. Based on that, system will allow certain transactions to be allowed for splitting, certain transaction not allowed for splitting. Now, how system is going to identify? Now, here there is one more thing you call your chart of account. There is another point related to chart of account. When you're talking about chart of account, this is your list of GL accounts. Chart of account is nothing but list of GL account. For all the list of GL accounts, you have something called account group. For all the list of GL accounts, you have something called account group. When you're talking about account group, for every account group, there is a number range. You have the account group, and these account groups are corresponding to number ranges, meaning you may be creating a cash account, bank account, fixed asset, current asset, debtors, creditor. Likewise, so many account groups you would have created in your chart of account. For every account group, there is a dedicated number range interval created. For every account group, we would have created dedicated number range interval, which will make sure that a particular GL account is created under the same account group. You cannot create GL account number the way you want, and you cannot assign the GL account to wrong account group, which the system will not allow, because there is a control with the account group and the number range. Meaning one account cannot be created under another account group, wherein system has got standard control validation to restrict wrong GL account to be created under incorrect account group. This is impossible. So you are going to understand what is my GL account and what is the nature of account. According to the nature of account, which category this GL account to fall under. Accordingly, you are going to create the GL account under the respective account group. These account groups or the account group associated GL numbers or GL number ranges, you are going to create something called, there is another setting called classify GL accounts for document splitting. In this, we are going to represent item categories. In this, you are going to represent item categories. This is the first setting I think everybody would have remembered. Everybody will remember that whenever you talk about a document splitting configuration, first thing that we will do is you will be classifying GL accounts for document splitting. When you are classifying a GL account for document splitting, you are talking about the GL account number range, from account number range to account number range. You have predefined item categories in SAP. Balance sheet account, asset, or your expenses, income, creditor, debtor. Likewise, there is a categories which are predefined by SAP. Every GL account number range that you are using, you have to allocate to a corresponding item category according to GL account. Meaning, whenever you are creating any accounting document, first triggering point is your document type. First triggering point is your document type. This document type is going to determine what is the business transaction. Your document type is going to determine what is the business transaction. Based on that, system is also going to look at what are the GL accounts that you are posting. System is also going to look at what are the GL accounts that you are going to post. For example, you are going to post this accounting document, cash account debit, capital account credit. Now this cash account may be part of one account group called cash account. Cash account may be part of an account group called cash account, and capital account may be part of any one liability category called equity or whatsoever. Now the account group whatever is created for cash, account group whatever is created for capital must have been configured in your document splitting, in which one item category must be allotted to it. According to document splitting, for cash GL account category, for capital GL account category, we would have assigned one item category list. Now this item category is something which is verified, which is controlled by your document type. Your document type, what your document type will see, if I put down here, while posting any document, we input document type. While posting any document, we input document type. We also input debit and credit line items. Sorry, we are going to input document type, first point. Second point, you are also going to input debit and credit line items. This is nothing but, can be GL, it can be customer, it can be vendor, it can be asset. Okay, any one line item you are going to put, or combination of line items you are going to represent or input while posting the accounting document. When you're doing this accounting entry, what system is going to look at? First point, system looks at splitting method. First, system looks at the splitting method. Splitting method, you're all aware, it is 12. Or let me put, system looks at splitting method. This is 12, this is standard. This is standard, there is no change in it. Second point, system looks at document type. For example, you are using SA here. System is also going to look at document type. Here I am going to represent SA. This is your manual input. Document type is a manual input. While posting any accounting entry, everybody is aware you are going to feed manually SA, AB, KR, DR, whatever it is. Next one, system looks at accounts. When we talk about accounts, it is going to look at debit, credit. This is again your manual input, because you are going to input GL account manually. Manually in the sense, either you are going to type the GL account or you are going to bring the GL account based on the account determination. It is not that system is imagining, system is assuming on its own. It is something that you are manually triggering the GL account either by typing manually or by maintaining account determination setting. GL account is coming into picture on the posting screen. Now from this, what system will do, once system is able to identify this, system is going to look at your document type. Document type is equal to SA. Now SA is assigned to business transaction. SA is assigned to business transaction. Now let me log into SAP. I'll show something here to make sure that you will feel comfortable what I'm talking. Once these screens are clear, once we are familiar with these screens, then I'm going to explain with different accounting entries before splitting, after splitting. But before that, these basic points are mandatory. In order to understand how exactly splitting is working, these theory points, whatever we are talking, is mandatory, without which practically it is not possible for us to understand. If I want to post any accounting entry, I'll go to F-02, any screen. You are going to input document type. This is one point which we have listed. Let me take any account number, any currency, anything. After this, period is not open. Let me change this to 5. After this, you are going to input GL account. It can be any GL account. For example, let me put one GL account here. While posting the document, you have given document type. You have also given GL account number. Document type you have given, GL account number you have given. Now let me go to document splitting configuration. If I go to splitting configuration, SPRO, financial accounting, general ledger accounting, business transaction, document splitting. This is where you are going to define the document splitting configuration. In this, first one is your classified GL account for document splitting. If I open this classified GL account for document splitting, here system is asking for chart of account. Everybody is aware when you are working in a project, if you are working for Acer client, if you are working for Lenovo client or Apple client, you are going to have a single chart of account. You are going to have single chart of account, meaning in one system in real time in a project, there will not be more than one chart of account. It will be strictly a single chart of account. This is the universal fact. Every client will use single operating chart of account. Right, like you are practicing, you will be creating one separate chart of account for every company code. This is applicable only in the practice environment. This is applicable only in the practice environment. We should have that differentiation. The last point that I've discussed yesterday, you should have a clear clarity there in order to understand conceptually how splitting works in real time. Here I am going to give any one chart of account. Now against your chart of account, you are going to define this configuration. Now it is open fact that one client is going to have one chart of account. So at chart of account level, this is a one-time configuration. At chart of account level, this is one-time configuration. Here, when you are posting the accounting document, you are giving GL account number. Here you are giving GL account number. Based on the GL account number, system is going to identify this GL account is corresponding to which item category. First of all, when you give a GL account number, here the GL account number, what I'm typing is 210 all zeros. The GL account number that I'm using here is 210 all zeros. If I look at this GL account number in the document split, if I look at the GL account in this document splitting, this is here. This GL account is coming from this configuration setting because this is coming under this range. 21 all zeros and 21 all lines. From this range, I am using one GL account. Now this GL account range is assigned with item category called 01000. This is assigned to an item category called balance sheet account 01000. From here, system is going to connect your item categories. From here, system is going to pick something called item category. Item category will come from here. And when you are giving document type, from here system is going to take business transaction. From document type, system is going to take business transaction. From GL account, system is going to take item category. There is a combination. There is a combination of business transaction. Document type SA is going to give you the business transaction. Similarly, GL account, in this example, 21001234 is equal to your item category. This is going to give your item category. In this example, if I look at this item category, from the configuration, item category is 01000, which is balance sheet account. Let me copy this item category. This is this one, and this is your balance sheet account. This is balance sheet account. Now, in order to understand this document type SA is connected to which business transaction, to see that, come out from this screen. Go to another setting called classify document type for document splitting. If I open this setting here, you will find all this configuration predefined in SAP. Unless it is required, you are not going to make any changes, corrections here. It is strictly the same configuration which is provided by SAP, unless you find a valid reason to change it, because it is not recommended to make any changes here. Unless you create a new document type, you are going to amend this configuration only when you create a new document type. Otherwise, whatever the document types provided by SAP will serve all the business transactions that are to be processed in a right way. If you are posting entries in a different way, if you are posting entries by using any different logic, in that case, if system is not going to split the entry, then only you are going to make corrections. And that also, when you are making certain corrections, it is not recommended you change the settings straight away for the standard document type. This is not allowed. This is not allowed. Let's say, for example, for AA it is 0000. I'll change 0000 to something else, is not allowed. In case if you wanted to do like this, it is strictly recommended you create a new document type. And for that new document type, do whatever you want. Create a new document type. For your new document type, do whatever you want, but for the standard document type, do not make any changes, especially this assignment. Do not make any changes, especially the assignment. Reason, tomorrow when you find any difficulties, definitely there will be difficulties, definitely there will be challenges. When you're working in the project, your accounting entries are coming from different dimensions, from different directions. You are going to have the direct accounting posting, you are going to have accounting entries from different other modules with the help of cross-functional or with the help of integration. In certain situations, system will not be able to post the accounting entry. It will throw an error called balancing field, profit center, business area segment not filled in line item number XYZ. You try to do different trial and error approach. You found out that no, I'm not able to fix this error. What I will do, let me try to change from 0000 to any other thing. If you open the list of business transactions, there is a list that you are able to see here. Now you would have done different combinations testing here, but you failed to update it. You found different combinations, but you failed to update the profit center. It is not working as expected. Now when you raise this incident to SAP, SAP is clearly aware that which document type is supposed to have which business transaction. SAP clearly knows which document type is supposed to have which business transaction, because these are all SAP standard functionalities which will be used as it is in any project. If you have changed this, you found that it is not working, you raised an incident to SAP. Now later on, when SAP is verifying this by taking your system connections and all, they will say that no, somebody changed this standard configuration, that is why this is not working. SAP will simply tell somebody changed the standard configuration, that is why it is not working. Please change it to 0000 and then test it, because this is something which has already been tested by SAP. SAP is releasing these things into market, and every consultant, every project will be using these things as it is wherever possible, because these are settings which are not supposed to be changed. Even when you are working, just like that, you are not supposed to change. There are certain things where you are not supposed to experiment. There are certain areas, there are certain things where you are not supposed to experiment, no matter what is the situation. No matter what, you are not supposed to experiment, because if something goes wrong, you will be held responsible. If something goes wrong, you will be held responsible. SAP will not take the responsibility. SAP will tell your consultant had changed some standard settings. We do not know why you changed it, which are not supposed to be changed. This is the minimum understanding that a consultant should have, that there are certain things which are provided by SAP standard which are not supposed to be changed, have been changed by your consultant. Please reach out to your consulting partner or your SAP partner. SAP will also raise their hand. I am not responsible. You have made some changes to my standard settings, which is the reason system is working like this. Now you need to reach out to the consultant. In this case, you are the consultant. Now SAP is also raising their hand. No, I cannot help you because you changed the standard setting. Meaning, as I said, there are certain areas where you are not supposed to play, where you are not supposed to experiment. Document splitting is one of such changes. Meaning these things will be used as it is. Unless you know the impact, unless you know the exact functionality, you are strictly not supposed to make any changes here. Now here, for your document type, there is a business transaction. Now in our example, the document that you are going to pass is using SA. Go to position, pick up document type. If you pick up document type SA, we'll have to see what is assigned here. SA has been assigned with business transaction called 0000, which is representing unspecified posting. This is your 0000 unspecified posting. I'll put 0000, and this is your unspecified posting. Now in the interview, they will literally ask you this. They want you to explain on what basis your splitting is actually coming into picture. How system is splitting the document, on what basis system is understanding how it has to split. So you need to explain system is looking at the document type SA, and system is also looking at the GL accounts. Based on the GL account, it is getting item categories. Based on the document type, it is getting business transaction. Now in the business transaction, there is a combination of item categories that are allowed for splitting. For example, next thing, in the business transaction, there is a combination of item categories. In the business transaction, there is a combination of item categories. If the item categories from the debit credit line items are part of allowed list of business transaction, system will split the entry, else it will give error message. Meaning system is also going based on a logic. Sometimes you are getting error, sometimes you are not getting error, meaning there is some combination missing. Always we will go and look at the Google and all. That is not the way to rectify any problem related to document splitting. First you need to understand on what basis system is trying to split, why it is giving the error, why this is not able to split. For you to understand, you need to go in a way how system is looking at the entry. How system is looking at the document type, you are also looking at the document type. System is looking at the GL accounts, you are also looking at the GL account. Now you know the document type, go to SAP, look at the document splitting configuration, pick up the respective document type. Against the document type, see what is the business transaction allowed. See what is the business transaction allowed here. It is 0000. Let me open another screen. Now in this screen also, let me come to the same path again, but for a different setting. SPRO. Come to financial accounting again. General ledger accounting, business transaction, document splitting. Now you have seen classified GL account, wherein GL account is assigned with item category. Second one is your document type assignment of business transaction. And then finally you have something called extended document splitting. There is something called extended document splitting. Before that, if you go to activated document splitting, the splitting method is 12. Splitting method is 12. And come back. As I said, document splitting, it cannot be activated, deactivated at company code level, activated, deactivated at client level. If you're activating a document splitting, this is activated for all the company codes in the client, meaning you are not supposed to play with this icon. You're not supposed to play with this icon. This is strictly document splitting enabled, splitting method 12 without any changes, no matter what. Especially in S4 HANA system, it is supposed to be like this only. Next one, for any reason, for your company code, you don't want it. For any reason, for your company code, you do not want it, go to deactivation per company code. At this company code level, whatever the company code in which you do not want a document splitting, go and inactivate or go and deactivate the document splitting, but not at the client level. It has to be deactivated at the company code level. Activation is at the client level, deactivation is at the company code level. Now come back. Next point, there is something called extended document splitting. If you come here, there is something called defined business transaction variant. Okay, defined splitting rule. There are a lot of settings which you have to say. In the project, if you are not able to understand when you are getting the error, how document splitting is working, why you are getting the error, you'll have to play with this. First one, if you go to define splitting method, this is the splitting method at 12. This is what you are going to use. This is the splitting method. This is what you are going to use. Come back. Second one, splitting rule. Open this. If you look at the splitting rule, you have to be very careful with the document type here. Others, please go on mute. Ramanji, can you go on mute, please? Okay. If you look at your SA document type, against SA document type, your business transaction is 0000. Against SA document type, your business transaction is 0000. And here you will find the list of splitting method. We know that we are using a splitting method called at 12. Now scroll down until you find it document splitting method at 12, or go to position, put or select splitting method at 12. I am going to select splitting method at 12 here. If I choose the splitting method at 12, under this splitting method at 12, look at the document type against which what is the business transaction assignment. Document type SA is assigned with business transaction 0000. You know that you are working with the splitting method at 12, which is common in every project. 12 is common in every project. Select your splitting method at 12 and look at this business transaction against the document type which was used in the posting, that is your SA. SA is connected with 0000. Choose 0000 here. Choose this 0000 and then you have item categories to be edited. There is something called item categories to be edited. Double click on this item categories to be edited and here you will find a combination. Here you will find a combination. This is splitting method at 12. This is your business transaction 0000. This is your transaction variant 0001. This is your transaction variant 0001 and this is item category 01100, which is splitting at company code clearing. This is splitting at company code clearing, meaning all these things are predefined in SAP. Now what you need to do here, double click on base item categories here. Double click on base item category. If you double click on base item category, you will find the item category list here. You will find item category list here. Now this is the category that you have assigned for the GL account. If I open another document splitting here, again SPRO, financial accounting, general ledger, business transaction, document splitting, classify GL account here. Give your chart of account. Look at the GL account here. This is the GL account which is in the picture. This is the GL account for which you are going to record the accounting entry For this GL account, what you have done, you have assigned item category 01000. Now in this configuration for this, in this configuration for it, business transaction 0000, check if if 01000 is allowed or not. Check if 01000 is allowed or not. If this is allowed, system will split this GL account in the document type SI. If this is there, it is going to split 01000 balance sheet account in the document. If this is missing here, your entry cannot be split. You will get the error message called balancing field profit center not filled. Meaning, in this standard SAP, there is a control for your basic accounting also. When we say there is a control for basic accounting also, when you are posting any accounting entry, left and right, you cannot select a document. When we say left and right, you cannot select a document type, because document type also will create a lot of problems if you are not posting the right accounting entry. When I say document type will create a problem when you are not posting the right accounting entry, here we are representing something called, if I look at the posting here, if you look at the document type list, this is the document type list. You have AA, AB, SA and all. Whenever you are posting any accounting entry, you need to understand what is the debit, what is the credit. You need to understand what is the debit, what is the credit which you are posting. According to this debit and credit, what is the ideal document? According to this, what is the ideal document type to be used? Don't blindly use SA, don't blindly use AA, don't blindly use KR, DR, whatever comes in your mind. Because if you look at the document type, now everything is interconnected here. It's not that straight away I understand the document splitting, I know 3 types of splitting. That is not the way how system is working. That is not the point how you will understand the document splitting. If I go to document type OBA7, if I open any document type, let's say if I pick up SA here, inside SA, if I double click on it, now there are account types allowed. There are account types allowed. Using SA document type, I can post to asset, I can post to customer, I can post to supplier, I can post to material, I can also post to GL account. Similarly, if I take one document type called, let's say WE, goods receipt. If I post goods receipt, it is only allowing my asset, it is only allowing my material, it is only allowing my GL account. Customer and vendor are not allowed when you are posting entry to WE. Straightforward type is not allowing customer and vendor. Straight away, this document type is not allowing customer and vendor. For example, let me try looking at it. When I say let me try, I'll come back, I'll put the same this one, I'll try to put WE and I'll put one company code. If I try to choose any posting key, let's say vendor. When I choose the accounting type this, it is giving a message account type K is not defined for document type WE. It is telling this account type K, which means vendor, cannot be posted with document type WE. Why this cannot posted? Document type is connected with your account type. Document type is also connected with your document splitting. In short, in order to post debit credit accounting entry, there are a lot of things that you'll have to practically connect. When we say there are a lot of things which you need to practically connect, only then when you're getting the problems, only then when you're defining the rules, when you're defining the validations control points, you will be able to understand what is the nature of a transaction. According to this nature of transaction, how I am going to control the posting. If there are no control points, there is no point of document splitting, there is no point of document type and all. Everything you can post under single document type. But why we are not doing it? Meaning there are different reasons, there are different requirements. These different reasons, these different fundamentals, logics, slowly we need to start understanding the same points. When you are representing to the other person in your interview or to anybody, they will understand, yes, this candidate has got the understanding how SAP is working. He's got the understanding how SAP is working, so that you will get a positive opinion. Now, if I look at this, this is not allowing. And if I come back to this item category list, if I come back to item category list, which we have seen, based on the business transaction. Based on the business transaction, you are able to see now whatever the item categories are here. There are 13 item categories, meaning balance sheet, cash discount, clearing, customer, vendor, cash account, tax, withholding tax, material, fixed asset, expense, revenue. Everything is here. Almost everything is here. That is why this is your unspecified transaction 0000. Whenever you post any entry with SA, almost all kind of accounting entries can be recorded using SA, because SA is connected to 0000. 0000 is allowing all the item categories. Item categories are indirectly representing your GL accounts. Item categories are indirectly representing your GL account, because GL account is directly linked with your item category. Item category is indirectly connecting your GL account. Item category is indirectly talking about your GL account. GL account is directly talking about item category, meaning this logic connection you need to understand. For example, if I come back and if I try to look at the other thing, when I say if I try to look at the other thing, if I try to post any invoice, if I talking about vendor invoice, we are all aware whenever you post vendor invoice, majoritarily we will be using accounting vendor invoice is your KR. Accounting vendor invoice is your KR. KR is nothing but 0300. Whenever you are posting any accounting entry to vendor invoice, you are going to represent KR. You are going to represent KR. KR is representing business transaction 0300. 0300 meaning is vendor invoice. If I go to 0300 here, if I come here, let me choose vendor invoice 0300 here. If I choose 0300 here, it has got two business transactions here. One is standard, one is invoice receipt Myro with retention. Meaning you have two types of vendor invoices. One is FB60 vendor invoice, which is coming from non-purchase order or which is your direct accounting invoice. Second one is your PO based invoice or Myro invoice, logistics invoice verification. During the logistics invoice verification or purchase order based invoice, you will be using the same business transaction, but business transaction variant will be different. 0002, which is representing invoice receipt Myro with retention, because the concept will differ there. Concept will differ there. Accounting entries will be different. Your GL accounts will be changed. When you're talking about retention, retention will go to a different GL account. When you're talking about vendor retentions will go to different GL account. If the GL account is changed, system may split, system may not split. You need to look at what is my configuration setting. When you're getting the error, straight away don't Google it. You go understand what is the business transaction that is being called, what is the document type that is being called, whether the combination is set properly or not. Whether the combination is set properly or not, you need to understand only after looking at all the possibilities. Only after looking at all the possibilities, you are supposed to Google or do anything. Before that, you are not supposed to do anything. Straight away, don't put any Google messages. When you are getting error, you need to understand, because irrespective of the level of the client system, your client may be using SAP from last 1 month or he may be using from last 10 years. Document splitting errors are common. When I say document splitting errors are common, this is common irrespective of the age of your system. It may be in life from last 20 years, 30 years, still you may receive the error messages, because this is control at the data entry level. When we say this is control at the data entry level, if you are using the right combination, your document splitting will work in the right way. If you are using any incorrect combination, it will not work. SAP has got certain basic accounting combination setting. SAP has got certain basic accounting combination setup and certain standard validations are inbuilt. Certain validations are inbuilt. If I show you this vendor invoice, item categories to be edited, this is 001. If you see, SA has got 13 item categories here, but this has got only 6. SA has got 13, but this has got only 6. Meaning, when I'm talking about vendor invoice, I'll talk about one accounting entry here. Normally, when you're talking about vendor invoice, your vendor invoice is nothing but purchases. In short, this is nothing but purchases in our day-to-day terminology. According to your purchases, there are two types of purchases. One is your cash purchases. Second one is your credit purchases. One is your cash purchases. Second one is your credit purchases. Accounting entry also we are all aware. When it is coming to cash purchases, your accounting entry will be cash account debit. Sorry. Yeah, cash account debit. And vendor account credit. Similarly,
Sir,
when
it
I'm
is
talking about
vendor account. Sir, it is vendor
yeah,
account data to cash.
purchases.
Purchase outgoing cash, right, sir? It is
Okay,
cash is
once
not.
No.
let me write
Actually,
this.
Yes, sir.
Let me put
Is it happy
purchase
with this?
account debit here and I'll put vendor account credit here. Are these accounting entries correct when it comes to cash and credit?
Second is
If I'm
correct.
talking
Purchase
about
account data.
cash purchases,
First scenario.
Credit, so it's credit.
okay, is this correct? Credit purchase is correct.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
vendor
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
even
It is
Yes, sir.
correct.
Okay, I'll mark it as green. What about this cash purchases?
Correct.
Sir, here purchase account debit to cash.
data to cash account. Purchase
Purchase
account data to
account
cash.
debited to cash account.
Cash account. So cash should come on the credit side.
Yes,
Let me
sir.
take cash on the credit side. Why cash credit side? Because when you're purchasing your credit, what goes out, cash is going out. You're going to put cash on the credit side. According to personal account, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Who is receiving your cash?
Vendor.
Vendor.
And
Vendor.
Is this correct?
yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir.
Now, for example, let me try to record this accounting entry, credit purchases. Now, in both the cases, is it purchase?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Correct. In both the cases, it is a purchases. Now, purchase means our document type is what? KR. Agree?
Yes.
Let me try to pass this accounting entry. Okay, I'll put this KR. I'll put this. First, I'm going to put credit purchases, wherein I'm going to put purchase account debit. I'll choose the purchase account. Enter. Enter. Some amount I'm going to give. Ignore the amounts and all. Purchase account debit, vendor account credit. Vendor account, I am going to take any one vendor. Same amount. This one, go to document, click on simulate. Purchase account debit, vendor account credit. Is this credit sale accounting, credit purchase accounting entry correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, similarly, what I'll do, I am going to record another entry.
Sir, in
F-43.
case of cash purchase, how the vendor is coming into picture, sir?
Let me put this. Now for this, I am going to put here where you're doing vendor, you're putting vendor on the debit side. I'm going to put debit vendor 31. Same amount I'll put, and credit I'm going to use cash account.
The posting fee is taken as 21, sir.
That is for vendor. Let me take cash account. I'll put same amount. I'll put same profit center here. We're just checking the accounting and we're not checking the authenticity of the accounting. We're just assuming one scenario in which cash purchases, another scenario in which you're taking credit purchases. Are these accounting entries correct?
Yes, sir.
Right? If I try to verify whether this accounting entry is okay or not okay, what I am going to do, I am going to look at document, simulate general ledger. Is this correct?
Right, sir.
Okay,
We have
how
to go
do
to
I
expert
know
mode.
whether this entry is okay or not okay? Where else I need to go and check?
Expert mode,
Export
sir.
mode.
I'll have to go to
Export mode.
expert mode. If I click on expert mode, if there are no messages, it is representing your accounting entry is correct.
Correct.
Now, if you see this,
Sir.
system is taking your splitting method at 12, right? And it is taking business transaction, it is taking business transaction variant, it is taking document type. These four parameters are very important. These four are very important. Splitting method, business transaction variant, and then derived via document type. These splitting characteristics are derived based on the document type KR. KR is bringing everything. These are not coming on its own. These are all coming because of your document type KR, meaning your document type is playing a major role in the document splitting. Based on the document type, you have the different GL account. Every GL account has got a different item categories. This item category combination is maintained in the business transaction and business transaction variant. Now what system is going to look at? Here it is going to look at business transaction variant, allowed item categories. Other somebody will have to go on mute. Now from the entry, whatever system is posting, it is going to look at this item category list. It is going to look at the item category list. If these item categories are part of this, it will allow. It will allow, else it will not allow to split. This is the first point. Second point, what I'll do, I'll come back here. I'll go to another entry. I'll keep this. Let me close this. There was another entry which we were posting here. This is another posting. Here also I'll go to document, simulate general ledger. I think somebody is not on mute. I'm getting echo. Same thing, expert mode. If you look at it, first of all, there is no profit center here. First point, there is no profit center here. Second point, if you look at it, it is telling item category 04000 not allowed in accounting transaction 03000001. System is telling whenever you are posting any accounting entry, with document type KR is intended for what? What is the purpose of document type KR?
Vendor invoice, sir.
Vendor invoice.
Vendor
Vendor,
invoice.
vendor.
Vendor invoice. Now in vendor invoice, there are two possibilities. You can have cash purchases. You can also have credit purchases. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Right? But how system is stopping you? According to you, I may say that no, I may argue with you. Why this entry is not correct? I am debit the receiver. My vendor is receiving the payment. I am debiting this. Credit what goes out? My cash is going out. I am crediting cash. Why this accounting entry is not correct? Is this accounting entry correct or not?
Sir, there should be material, right, sir? Material accounted out to
Entry
cash.
itself is wrong, sir.
Because suppose we
First, we
are
need
If
to
purchasing
book
you
the
material.
vendor.
No, forget about everything. From a generic accounting perspective, let's say I purchased some petty items where there is no material, consumables. There's no material.
In
If I wanted to
stationery
book
and
like this,
Ye-
is this allowed
Sir,
or
in that
not?
case, there is expenses, sir.
miscellaneous expenses.
That one is administration
Meaning,
expenses, sir, or office expenses.
whenever you're talking about vendor invoices, your vendor invoice is always based on, or your vendor invoice,
PO.
let's say, what happened? vendor invoice cycle. Now it has to be invoice followed by payment. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It has to be always invoice followed by payment. For example, for any reason, there is a client, there is a user who is trying to create entry in a wrong way. Now, if system is allowing it, is this correct or not correct?
The entry is wrong.
If system is allowing,
First, they need.
if system is allowing, is the entry correct or not? Because according to us, as long as debit credit is matching, as long as debit is equal to credit, according to us so far, it can be any debit, it can be any credit. For example, if I try to simulate another entry here, F-02. Okay, I'll put same account to debit. I'll put same account credit. Is this entry correct? Can I put debit credit to same account?
No.
No, sir.
If I simulate this, if I go to expert mode, is there any error message?
No, sir.
No.
There is no error message, meaning there are certain situations, there are certain prerequisites, there are certain conditions in which system is going to stop your accounting entry. There are certain conditions according to which SAP is going to stop your accounting entry because that is not right way of accounting. Because that is not right way of accounting. As you all said, this is wrong. As everybody said, this is wrong. Agree? This is not the right way of accounting.
Yes.
This is not the right way to record the entry, but according to us so far, what you're all thinking, if debit is equal to credit, system will allow the accounting entry even though it is wrong, right? Correct? Now, is it the same situation now? System has got certain checkpoints related to accounting, meaning certain business transactions you have to understand. When we say certain business transactions you have to understand, it is based on the document type. System is understanding the business transaction based on the document type. According to the document type, there are certain parameters, there are certain conditions programmed in the SAP. If those conditions are met, if those conditions are satisfied, only then the accounting entry is accepted. Otherwise, it is not accepted. Either you need to change the accounting entry or you need to change the document type to allow the entry. For example, the same entry, if I try to pass with this document type KR, I am getting the error. Let me try to put the same accounting entry with a different document type. I'll put the same entry now using the different document type.
KZ it will allow.
I'll put 40, sorry, 21. I'll put vendor account, same 10,000, and then I'm going to put 50 cash account, same amount, same profit center, simulate. This is the same accounting entry again, simulate general ledger. Now it is split, expert mode. There is no error message. Same accounting entry, when you are using with SA document type, there is no error. Same accounting entry when you are using KR document type, there is an error. Agree? Now,
Yes, sir.
is there any impact because of the document splitting on the posting, or there is no impact? Is your
There is.
document splitting playing any role in the data entry, debit credit posting, or there is no role, or it's a dummy setting that you're defining?
No, sir, it's playing some role.
It is
There is
playing a key
impact.
role. It is
Yes.
playing a key role. Now, when you're posting the accounting entries, you have to make sure your user will choose the right accounting document type. In short, the correct accounting document type must be used based on the nature of a business transaction, meaning SAP has got clear instruction. System has got clear instruction. That is why When you're posting any accounting entry, you're not blindly posting the accounting entries, right? It's not that every time I go to F-02 and then post the entry. If you wanted to post a GL, you are coming to F-02. If you're trying to post vendor invoice, you are coming to F-43, credit memo, some other screen, payment a different transaction code, customer a different transaction code, asset a different transaction code. Why? Because if everything is at one place, there is no control. Agree? If everything is allowed in one transaction, will there be any control or there is no control?
Will be no control.
If you are posting everything under one screen, there is no control. When there is no control, your accounting is gone for a toss. When I say your accounting is gone for a toss, for example, if I wanted to use my cash account, bank account at the time of invoice booking, is that allowed?
No.
No. For example, I am talking about this. For purchases, we said there is no cash purchases. For purchases, we said we agreed that there is no cash purchases, which is correct. When it comes to sale, let's say I'm talking about customer sales now. When I'm talking about customer sale, same point I'm going to write. Sale is also again, I'll put customer invoice here. This is nothing but invoice. Sorry, sales. Again, there are two things. I may call it as cash sales, credit sales. If I'm talking about cash sale, if I'm talking about credit sale, is it possible or not possible when it comes to sale? Or is it same like your purchases? For example, credit sale, what is the accounting entry?
Customer account data to sales
My
account.
account data.
When it comes to cash sale, I am selling something, immediately I am receiving the cash. What entry
Cash
I
account
should
data
record?
to sales account.
Cash to
Cash
sales.
account debit to.
Are these two accounting entries correct?
Yes.
Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is the document type for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For customer sale,
DR.
DR. We are not
DR.
talking about sales order, so forget about RV. It is DR. We are talking from the accounting
Yeah.
perspective. DR. Let me choose cash account debit, sales account credit. Let me go here. If I come here, for example, F-02 40 cash account debit. Let me choose cash account here. Enter same amount, profit center, credit 50. So we are talking about sales. Let me choose sales. Sales is here. Enter same amount, profit center, this document, simulate. Now I'll go to document, simulate general ledger. Profit center is updated here. If I go to expert mode, is there any problem?
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
There is no problem. But tomorrow, if I wanted to know, that to whom I made this sale, I'm telling that I made a sale. My accounting entry is cash account debit, sales account credit. Now there will be an audit point from whom you received the money, who paid this money to you, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow there may be an audit point. You are showing a cash in the debit side, meaning you are telling that you received money. You have to tell who gave you money, debit the receiver, credit the giver, or debit what comes in,
This
credit
one is
what goes
one-time
out.
customer, right?
Under
This one is
any
one-time customer. So
circumstances,
one-time customer we are
are we
charging.
supposed
Okay.
to show, under any circumstances, are we supposed to show from where we got this money or not?
Yes, Ajay, we
We'll
need
Yes,
to
write
sir.
the
observe.
Yes,
description, right?
yes, we need.
Yes, sir.
Alright, then the accounting entry, can I put cash account debit, customer account credit instead of sales?
No.
Yes.
Ajay, can you hear me? We need to
Yeah.
pass the two entries. It should be customer credit, cash debit.
If I say I am doing a counter sale, when I say I am doing a counter sale, now I need to do my sales reconciliation. How I do the sales reconciliation? I need to look at the customers, which customer has purchased.
It's correct.
Now, is this accounting entry correct or not?
It's
Cash
correct.
account debit.
It's correct.
Now, for example,
In
if this
general
is
accounting
correct,
sense, it is right, sir. In general accounting sense, it is correct. In auditing point of view, this one is need some information.
but you may be having over the counter sales, right? There is something called counter sales. You heard any time counter sales?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When you're talking about counter sale, you
End of
have
the
to book the sale
day,
in the customer account. So you may be booking under one customer, one time customer. So the total sale that you have done today will have to match with the sales ledger. Sales is nothing but your customer in this case. Since you are not going to book another entry, it's a spot settlement. Customer is giving you cash, he is taking the product or whatsoever service. Yes, no, is this entry correct or not
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes, sir.
Ajay,
Correct.
Yes, sir. Correct, sir. In that
Ajay,
case,
can you hear me?
can
Ajay, can you
as
hear?
per
in that
audit
case,
proposal, it's correct.
No, for example, if you're talking about this, let me write on scenario here. Let's say one customer had placed an order to me. Okay, based on the sales order, I did delivery. Okay, and then based on the delivery, I did PGI, I issued goods. Now I need to bill the customer. Now here, bill and payment are single activity. Agree? If it is counter sale,
Yes, sir.
if this is a
Yes,
counter
sir.
sale, I am going to collect the money on the spot. I'm not going to tell that okay, I will book the invoice, you please wait for 5 minutes, go to the another counter, make the payment. Is that the situation, or it is over the counter settlement?
Over the counter settlement, sir.
It's over the counter
Over the
settlement.
counter.
On the spot, customer is going to take the product and then he is going to pay the money. There is no point you book the invoice again, you will write another entry for passing the what you call the clearing. No client will be saying okay for it. No client will tell I want to post invoices separately, I want to post payment separately, because this is a dedicated business process called as your counter sale or cash sale. This is how your accounting entry will be recorded. In this case, is this accounting entry right or not?
Ajay is
Correct.
right. Is this date? It is right.
This is correct accounting entry. Here also this is correct accounting entry. In purchases, this is different, but when it comes to sale, this is a valid scenario. Now let me try to pass this accounting entry. What I'll do here, I'll come back. I'll put the same accounting entry. 40 is my cash account. Let's say same amount. Profit center. But here I am not supposed to use SA. Since it is customer invoice, it should be DR. Because you cannot bypass a document type. You cannot bypass a document type. Reason, tomorrow when you are working in a project, document types related to sales are not manual entries. These are determined based on the system automatically with the help of FIST integration. Is that correct? You have something called FIST integration, right?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So document type is automatically determined by system. There's no point you manipulate the system. Number range is missing. Let me update the number range. I'll go to FBN1 LEIN. It's asking for 18. Let me update 18 here. 2024 18 all zeros and 18 all lines. Save it. I'll come back to the entry. Let me press enter. Now I am going to debit my cash account because I am receiving the cash from the customer. Now I'll be crediting my customer account. Customer credit is posting key 11. If I do it, let me choose if there is any customer in this company code. LEIN, there is a customer, enter same amount, I'll put this document simulate. Is the entry correct? Cash account debit, customer account credit.
Yes, sir.
Now if I go to document simulate general ledger, though you have given profit center, is the system taking the profit center on the credit side, customer side?
No.
No. If I go to expert mode, what error system is giving?
But item category for 4,000 not allowed.
Item category 04000 is not allowed. Now what is the scenario that you're talking about here?
Cash sales.
Cash sales. Now in that situation, this GL account should be only cash or cash sales should be the GL description.
Cash account data to sales, it should come on. Ajay.
So I have to change my GL description to cash sales account. Agree? Because it is serving two purposes for me.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right? I'll have to create a GL account name called cash sales.
Yes, sir.
Now this cash sale, what I wanted to do, it is a cash in nature. I'm receiving the cash or I'm collecting the cash from customer. I'll have to create it under cash GL account only. Now in this situation, what I'll do, if you look at your document splitting configuration here again, come back, go to document splitting, you're talking about customer invoice, which is your DR. If I go to DR, this is 0 to 00. Now go to document splitting 0 to 00. Come back here, choose 0 to 00 customer invoice, click on item categories, click on base item categories to be split. Then you will see 04000 is not allowed here.
Yes.
Is this allowed?
No.
Is this allowed
No,
or
sir.
not allowed?
No,
This is
no,
not
no,
allowed.
Not allowed.
Not allowed. Now if I come back to this, let me close this. From where this error message is coming? Okay, what are the item categories allowed here? If you see, company code clearing, customer, taxes are allowed. If you're using a KR, only these things are allowed, others are not allowed. Now what I wanted to do here, I need to make sure the GL account item category is different in this case. So what I'll do, I'll go to my GL account, classify GL account, I'll come back, classify GL account for document splitting. This I am doing it in a different company code, LEIN. I'm not sure what is the chart of account for this. LEIN. If I do this, my cash account is created as under this category. Agree? Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now from this category, there are certain GL accounts which you are going to use for your actual petty cash, for the other cash account. But this particular GL account, this is, though it is part of cash GL account, the purpose is cash sale. Is that right? Though it is part of cash GL account, the purpose is different, not the cash purpose. So in such a situation, what you'll have to do as part of your configuration, you need to break this down. When I say you need to break it, first you copy this. You copy this and then you are going to delete this setting, save the setting. Okay, are you sure want to save? See, if you see, this is giving further informations. Do you really want to save? Because these are all sensitive configurations. Unless you are sure, you are not supposed to make any correction. Now I will add back the same setting. Okay, but instead of this, what I'll do, GL account that I am using is 121 all zeros. I am going to skip this number from here. I will be skipping this number. I am going to keep it from 1. I'm going to keep it from 1 and then I'll put 0 here. Now, am I able to separate this account or not from the cash category? Did I separate it from cash category or not? The GL account? I broke this chain sequence.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Now this I'm going to assign it under customer. I will assign this under what? Customer. Now let me save it. Now if you are using, sorry, let me save it again. Save yes. Now if you look at it, for this particular cash GL account, item category is customer 0 to 000. If you go to this document splitting 0 to 00, is this allowed or not now? Now 0
Yes,
to
please. Allowed.
000 item category, is it allowed for document type sales or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Allowed.
it's allowed.
Customer
yes,
invoice.
sir.
Now this is allowed. I'm not changing the GL account. I'm not doing any change. I'm just adjusting the nature of a GL account according to the business transaction. Agree? Now let me try to simulate the entry. Let me come back. F-02 or F-22, anything is fine. This is the practical case where every client will be using it. 40, I'll take this account. 10,000, profit center. Customer account, I'm going to take 4761. Same amount. Now I'll go to document. I'm going to simulate. Now let me go to document, simulate general ledger. Now do you see the profit center is a split or not?
The document type is essay. You choose an essay, not KR, not DR.
Oh, sorry. I'll put DR. I'll put again 40. Cash account. Same amount. Profit center. Credit customer account. Same amount. Let me simulate general ledger. Now is it splitting with the document type DR? Earlier it is not bringing the profit
Yes,
center.
sir.
Now is it bringing profit center? If I go to expert mode, is there any error message?
Oh,
Now
No.
the cash
No,
GL
sir.
account, this is the baseline item, is now representing item category 0 to 000. This is acting like a customer.
yes.
Right? Now the system has got certain control points. When I say system has got certain control points, which are not practically allowed as per accounting. When I say which are not practically allowed as per accounting, but based on the business requirement, based on the business transaction, wherever you have the justification, you need to convert the GL accounts into a category which will allow your transaction to be recorded, because from the cash GL account, or you may be creating a dedicated account group called cash sales. Possible? You may be creating another GL account called cash sale, and now I cannot say cash sales is a revenue account. Agree? Can I say cash sale is a revenue account?
Yes, sir.
Cash sale, I'm immediately receiving
No,
the
sir.
cash. When you receive the cash, you cannot show it as a revenue, right? It has to be a
Correct, sir.
balance sheet account. Whenever you receive money, whenever you spend money, it is your balance sheet account. So you need to represent it under the balance sheet. For you to meet this requirement, you'll have to play with the document splitting like this. Meaning, when you're understanding these points, when you're looking at the system behavior, how system is behaving, in what kind of a scenario, how system is behaving. This is one example. Similarly, now is this example clear?
Ajay,
Yes.
can you show one more time what
Yes.
configuration changes you did for this?
Yeah, I'll repeat it once again. This is
And
one point.
I have one
Second
more.
point.
I have a question here, just to clear. So we had some of the organization, they have the cash journal set up, right? Where all the cash in and cash out. So in that case, how does it work with the document splitting?
That's normal cash account only. That's a different point. This is cash sale. That is your cash receipt, cash payment. So this is the actual sale transaction.
Okay.
Okay.
So for the
Let me
cash
post.
channel,
No, I'll come back to these scenarios once again. This is just that I'm showing how system is going to behave with respect to the document splitting, so that we will have a practical understanding on the document splitting. Then I'll talk in a generic way about a document splitting. You will have a lot of practical points to be explained in your interview, so that when you pick up these examples, when you talk, this was the business requirement, this was the challenge that I faced during my document splitting, this is how I set up the system. Nobody will put any cross question. Instead of talking active splitting, passive splitting, zero balance splitting, the definitions, you're talking the practical functionality, how this is used in a project, how this is used in an organization. As a consultant, how you are going to respond, how you are going to receive the error messages, how you are going to solve it. If I try to post any accounting entry now, what I'll do, I'll post one accounting entry in which I'm going to debit one expense account. Same 10,000, profit center, and then I'll put one balance sheet account. Let's say one balance sheet account. What is this accounting entry? Just look at, there is one expense account, there is one balance sheet account. Agree? Don't go by the account name, just look at, there is a P&L account, there is a balance sheet account.
Yes, sir.
Let me go to simulate general ledger. Profit center is there on both the line items. If I go to expert mode, is there any problem with this entry?
No, sir.
Why
Yes,
there
sir.
is no problem? On what basis you are telling there is no problem? Because there is no message here. Agree? If there is a problem, there will be an error message here. If there is no message, meaning there is no problem. Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
There is no message means there is no problem in the entry. It is good for posting. Let me come back from this. Now I'll do one more thing. Same thing, I'll take one expense. I'll put one profit center. I'll put another expense. I'm going to put another profit center. Now I'll put credit balance sheet account. I'm going to put full amount. I'm not giving any profit center. I'll go to document, simulate general ledger. Is it working okay, or now this is showing something different?
Something different.
Let me go to expert mode. Is this entry okay or not okay?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
not
sir.
okay.
Not okay, sir.
Not okay.
Not okay.
Yeah.
Any problem in my posting?
Yeah, yes, sir. System
I
not picking that profit centers.
I posted debit. I posted debit because this 10,000 is supposed to be profit center 1. This 10,000 is supposed to be profit center 2. And this account is supposed to be common. It has to split. This is what is your document splitting objective. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now the expectation is my two accounts are supposed to split between my capital account equally 10,000, 10,000, PC1, PC2. Is it right approach or not? Right scenario or not?
Yes, sir.
But system is not splitting. System is not splitting. You got the same error. Now what I'll do, I am going to look at this. Simulate general ledger. There is a problem. Something is tricky. I'm not able to understand. First of all, it is not supposed to go to this. It is not supposed to go to this. This account, why is this account coming? Any idea? 811.
Technical clearing account.
TB account, TB takeover account.
Zero balance
What is
account.
this account?
Sir, zero balance
Offset
account,
entry
sir.
means TBA.
This
Data
is your
takeover.
Zero,
zero
TB
balance
takeover
clearing
account.
account.
Means zero.
yes, sir.
This is the zero balance clearing account. In your document splitting, there are two methods: active splitting,
Divide.
passive splitting, zero balance splitting. Others, please go on mute if you're not talking. You have active splitting, you have passive splitting, you have zero balance splitting. Hari Prasad, you have to go on mute, please.
We think Bhushan said only that issue.
Yeah, all right. We have three splittings: active splitting, passive splitting, zero balance splitting. According to us, or according to our general or a regular understanding, whenever system is not able to split, whenever system is not able to split based on the active, based on this passive, system is going to balance debit and credit with the help of zero balance. Entry will be processed. Agree?
Yeah, yes.
Whenever debit credit profit centers are mismatching, in this example debit credit profit centers are different. Agree? They are mismatching, and system is supposed to balance it either with active or with passive. If active passive both are not working, system has to balance it with zero balance clearing account. Now zero balance clearing account has come into picture. Still my balances are not matching. If I look at the overall transaction value, let me verify the total for it. The server connection gone. Okay, overall transaction value is 0. If I do a subtotal at the profit center level, if I do a subtotal at the profit center level, for PC2 balance is becoming 0, for PC1 balance is becoming 0, but there is something without any PC. Now when there is no PC, there is no accounting entry. This is the basic point which we understood on day 1. No profit center, no accounting document in SAP. Same thing is happening. System is throwing an error message: balancing field profit center not filled up. Though you have given entry correctly, still you are not able to split the entry because something is wrong here. Because there is a blank profit center. When there is no profit center, there is no accounting entry. That is the reason if you go to expert mode, balancing field profit center not filled up in line item number 003, line item number 1, line item number 2, line item number 3. For this there is no profit center. Once system is getting the profit center here, if it will throw another error message at 4, at 5, at 6, at 7. Now there is a problem. When there is a problem, when you are posting an expense, now be very careful. Your interviewer might give you a scenario. Your interviewer might give you a scenario wherein if I have to debit two expenses, two different cost centers, two different profit centers, and then I'll give a credit to my balance sheet account. What will be the accounting entry? Will system split the entry or not? In standard, is the system splitting this entry? If I have two P&L accounts where there are two different profit centers, and on the credit side, is the system splitting or not splitting?
Not.
What is happening? System is splitting or not splitting?
Not splitting, sir.
Not.
Not splitting.
It is not splitting. What is the document type I'm using?
SA.
Which one I'm using here? Document type?
SA.
D.
SA is what I have
Essay.
used. I'll come to document splitting configuration, classify document type for document splitting. Let me open this. And then I will choose SA from this list. Somebody please come out from this screen. I'll choose SA. In SA there is something called this 0000 and it is not splitting. Now if you open the drop down, there is something called 0100, which is specifically talking about transfer posting from P&L to balance sheet account. Is this the scenario that we're talking about? P&L to balance sheet account? Correct? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now let me change this here. I'll click on save, continue. Now what I'll do, let me try to enter the same accounting document once again. I'll keep this as it is. 1 minute. Now after looking at all these scenarios, you need to have a clarity. Initially, I understand it will create a lot of confusions, but slowly you need to understand there is a lot behind the document splitting. That is the only reason why everywhere everybody is behind the document splitting topic in your interviews. Somebody is asking the same topic in every interview in every company, meaning there is something behind it which we do not know in general, which you do not think that this is the very straightforward. There is some logical thinking, there is some logical functionality which you need to understand. The same functionality, if you are able to talk or if you are able to at least try, you will get shortlisted. Now I'll do same entry again, F-02 SA, posting key 40. I'll take the expense account. Same thing, 10,000, profit center 1. And posting key debit again. I'm using same account, it can be different account also. I'm using same account, it can be different account also. End of the day, system is looking at this is an expense account. System is not concerned about what is the GL account. System is concerned about what is the item category connected to it. When you're talking from the document splitting point of view, you are not supposed to look at the GL account. Look at what is the item category that is connected to the GL account. And when you're talking about this functionality in the interview, you have to specifically represent a GL account, item category, business transaction, document type, splitting method. All these points, all this terminology you'll have to bring into picture. Credit 20,000. Since there are multiple debits and credits, I have a single credit. I'm not going to put any profit center because I want system to split accordingly. Now go to document, click on simulate. This is the accounting entry on the simulation screen. Next thing, let me go to document, click on simulate general ledger. If I click on simulate general ledger, is system able to split the entry according to the offsetting account?
Yes, sir.
Now the same entry, when I try to process here, there is a problem. But the same entry when I'm trying to process after making minor configuration changes, there is no problem. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Now, is it important to understand the accounting entries to understand the document splitting, or straight away you can read and then understand the document splitting? Is there any impact on the accounting entries, document types, configuration, or it is only based on active passive zero?
No, it's impacted sir, in that accounting type.
Right? There's a huge impact. It's not only about your active splitting, passive splitting, zero balance splitting. There is a lot behind this which you have to practically understand. And when somebody is asking in the interview, you'll have to quote these examples. Now, in this example, if you go to expert mode, let's see what is here. What is this? Split according to what is listed here?
Base row. Split according to base row.
Split according to base row. This is nothing but active document splitting. What is this example called?
Active documents.
Active document splitting. Now let me show one more entry. F-02. I'll take same entry here. This time I'll take single amount, single profit center, balance sheet account, same amount. I'm not giving any profit center here. I'm not giving any profit center on the capital account. I have given profit center only to the expense account. Let me go to document, simulate. Now I'll go to document, simulate general ledger. Now if I go to expert mode, there is a profit center derived here. Let me click on expert mode. Now what is this here?
Split
Split according
according
to
to
base
base
row.
row, sir.
Split according to base rows. Now
Rows.
here when you are posting different kind of accounting entries, these things will get changed here. Sometimes it will be split according to base row, sometimes it will be standard account assignment, sometimes it will be inheritance, sometimes it will be passive document splitting. You need to understand, you need to have one example for every category of document splitting. Meaning whenever you are talking about a document splitting, if you are talking about active document splitting, if you're talking about active document splitting, this is not the example to be quoted. This is wrong example. Why this is wrong example for active document splitting? If you tell this example in the interview, nobody will select you. Nobody will be okay with your example. If you tell this, similarly, if you tell this also, it is doubtful that somebody will accept to your example. Even if you tell this. Reason? Why reason? Why I cannot say this example for my document splitting in the interview? Why? If you
That
tell this
because
accounting
both
entry,
there was single entry, Ajay. So we
no,
are
there are two line items here, two different profit centers here.
yes.
This is a valid example only, but still people will not be convinced if you tell this example in the interview. Because
credit line item, you are not giving any profit center, sir. That's why they are not agreeing.
no, no, they are not
Uh,
agreeing because there is something called general ledger and then sub ledger. Now you have something called account assignments. Agree? In the document splitting, you're talking about something called account assignments.
Yeah.
When I say I'm talking about account assignments, I'm talking about classify document splitting a characteristics for GL account. If I open this, what field is made mandatory here?
Profit center.
Profit center. These are nothing but your account assignments. What are these called?
Account assignments.
Account assign.
Account assignments. Now let me show one accounting entry. Now what I'll do, I'll show one accounting entry to you. I'll go to F-02. Any transaction you can take. I'll put any GL account. Look at any amount. Do you find profit center field or not? Do you find profit center field editable or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, it is there.
Right? This is account assignment. Now if you click on more, this is talking about all account assignments. Right? If I open this, if I click on it, I'm able to see cost center, profit center, segment. If business area is activated from the field status group, that is also applicable here. In short, profit center field, are you able to see from the GL account or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Profit center field, you are able to see from the GL account level. Similarly, if I'm talking about 11, this, what is this account? Posting key is 11 what?
customer.
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 Customer is main ledger or sub ledger?
Customer is sub-ledger.
Subledger.
Sub ledger. Now,
Subledger.
can I find profit center here?
No.
No, sir.
There is no profit center.
Yes, sir.
Now, this straightforward example here is your account assignments are applicable only for main ledgers. Account assignments are applicable only for main ledger, not applicable for sub ledger. That is the reason when you are posting any entry to customer, when you are posting any entry to vendor, you don't find a field called profit center. You noticed any time? For customer line item, for vendor line item, there is no profit center to input. Is this correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, customer and vendor will have a connecting GL account via reconciliation account. Is this also correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Receivable center.
If you look at this is my customer account. Customer account on the same line, exactly opposite, there is a GL account. This is the customer account to which I am going to record the entry. This customer is connected to this GL account, which is a reconciliation account. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Which is coming from the customer master data. Now, whenever you do a document simulation, there are two simulation. One is only simulate, another one is simulate general ledger. Agree?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, if I put the same amount, let me do the simulation. The accounting entry here is capital account debit, Ajay Infotech account credit, meaning GL account is on the debit side, my customer account is on the credit side. Now, if I change this, simulate general ledger, but before simulating general ledger, what is the credit GL account number? What is the credit account number?
Vendor number.
Customer.
It is 4761. Is it the GL number or sub GL number? Sub ledger number?
Subledger.
Subledger.
Sub ledger number. Now let me go to document, click on simulate general ledger. If I click on simulate general ledger, is it the same customer code? Is it the same customer number or it is changed?
Changed, sir.
It's changed.
It is changed. It is changed because you are on the general ledger simulation. General ledger simulation will only bring GL account. If you are posting to a customer account, customer associated reconciliation GL account will brought into picture. Here system will perform the splitting, meaning you must talk about data entry view of the document, general ledger view of the document. Every document will have two views, GL view and then entry view.
Yes,
Right
sir.
from your document
Yes, sir.
posting, from the beginning onwards, I am showing you simulate general ledger, click on export mode.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Right? So these points you'll have to remember. These points is what you'll have to quote in your interviews. When somebody is asking about a document splitting, these are all the points that you are supposed to talk. And if I go to export mode, now here if you see profit center is not split. Profit center is not there, right? If I click on export mode, this is because wrong document type is chosen or wrong item category is assigned to the GL account. Agree? Either wrong document type is chosen or wrong item category is used for the GL account. These are the possible reasons.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Right? System is not splitting because there are some logics here. These logics is what you need to represent. These logics is what your interviewer wants to hear from you. Nobody wants to hear active document splitting, passive document splitting, zero balance document splitting, definition, meaning. Nobody cares. They want you to talk these points. They want you to explain by taking one or two examples. Make them understand that you are aware of how document splitting practically works in the real environment. And what exactly configuration you're doing, which configuration is used for what purpose, what are the standard settings and how you are going to set it up. Is it something that you are setting up at company code level, or is it something that you are setting up at client level? Are you supposed to make changes to this? All these points, when you're talking, the other person comes to a conclusion, yes, this candidate is aware of what is document splitting. Tomorrow, if you are making any changes, usually what we will do whenever you're creating a new company code, are we going and defining document splitting multiple times? Yes or no? Yes, no? When you create two company codes for your practice, are you changing document splitting or not?
For
Yes,
practice,
sir.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for
Yes, sir.
practice.
Yes.
I'm talking about practice,
Yes,
Yes, sir.
we are.
Yes, sir.
right? And similarly, there is another problem which we have been facing right from the beginning. Somebody is making changes, server is giving runtime errors, dumps,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
yes, sir.
Server is giving it dumps. Why server is giving it dumps? All of a sudden, why server is throwing errors, dumps? Somebody is changing some standard configurations, agree? Which are
Yes,
not
sir.
supposed to be changed. Meaning, since we are on the practices server, it is fine. But is it accepted when you're in the real server, when you're in the project?
No, sir.
That is not allowed. But when you're doing the configuration, nobody checks what you're doing. And that is the reason there is something called a system landscape in this in practical project anywhere in any organization, development, quality, production. And there is something called a different
Yes.
level of testing.
Yes, sir.
You do configuration in one system, you move it to another system, you test it yourself there because you are responsible. Because you cannot blame your user. No, you only tested, I don't know what happened. First of all, configuration is allowed in a different server, testing is allowed in a different server. You cannot say I do not know what happened. Am I correct?
Yeah, yes, sir. Correct.
Second point, in the development, you are the one who is supposed to test, called unit testing,
Yeah, yes, sir. We only testing
right?
that.
Before you reach out to the user for UAT, you need to make sure UT is completed, everything is working fine. Then you move your changes to quality system, ask your user to test it. If your user is also testing, it is fine. Then you will move to production. Now, if any problem is coming, you're crossing development, you're also crossing the quality before you're reaching production. And if errors are moved to production, this is clearly representing you have not tested. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
If something is moved to production which is creating a problem, it is a clear representation that you have not tested properly or you have not understood the requirement properly. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Because whatever is there in development, from development only things are going to quality. From there only things are going to production. How come the error is coming only in production? If error is coming in production, it should come in the quality also. It should come in the development also. Am I correct or not? If you have
Yes,
tested
sir.
properly,
Yes.
Yes,
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 sir.
sir.
it is not the case that it is coming only in production. Now this is where people will get caught. When I say this is where people will get caught, you have no answer. You cannot justify anything here. You have to accept it is my mistake. I did not understand the requirement. I don't recollect. I don't even know what I did. People will accept, no, I don't know what I did exactly. Now you'll have to go back in a reverse way, meaning you'll have to look at the transport request configuration change which was used, what changes are made in it. Now you have no track, you have no backup because everything is gone until production. Now you do not
Yes.
know till yesterday or till that TR is moved to production, it was working fine. The moment you imported a TR, the moment you brought changes into production, everything is gone for a toss. Things are not working everywhere. Everybody started to getting the error. Now, is this kind of errors? All of a sudden, errors are coming in production. Is this high priority problem or is it normal problem?
It's high priority.
Priority.
This is high priority. No matter where you are, you have to leave everything and then sit in front of the system, irrespective of the time. Whether it is 10 o'clock midnight, 1 o'clock midnight, you are at home, you are at movie theater, you are at anywhere, you have to sit in front of the system. Because users are working at different locations, different time zones, there are certain configurations which are client level, there are configurations which are at the company code level, there are configurations which are at the country level, There are certain transactions where customer will have a huge business impact. For example, you are unable to post sales because of some error. System is not allowing you to post the entry. Unless you post the entry, will you be able to do a sale transaction to a customer?
No. No, sir.
Will your customer wait until your system errors are resolved?
No. No, sir.
Simple. If you go to any supermarket and all, if if the billing counter agent is unable to scan your barcode, will he do the sale though you are ready to pay cash?
No, sir.
Why? You're ready to pay cash, right?
Yes.
You don't want bill, you're ready to pay cash. Not allowed, because there are certain rules and regulations, there are certain policies to be followed. If there is no billing, there is no sale. That's it. You have to lose the customer. Your customer will go to somewhere else. Now, is this a business impact or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, there are certain errors which you need to understand. When I say there are certain errors which you need to understand, anything that you are moving to quality system, production system via configuration, you need to have clear understanding what are you doing, especially when there is a functionality which is already implemented, you are making any correction. Document splitting is one of such. Now, because of some errors, you are going to make certain changes. Now, what I did for one document type, I just like changed 0000 to 0100. Correct? For one document type, I have changed from 0000 to 0100. My PNL balance sheet entry was posted. But did I check whether my PNL to balance sheet single profit center is working or not? Did I check that? Or I checked only the problem related scenario? What did I check?
Problem
Only check for the
related
problem.
scenario.
I tested only problem related scenario where I got two P&L accounts with two different profit center, one balance sheet account without profit center, which was giving me an error. I went ahead, I saved the document splitting configuration from 0000 to 0100, which solved my problem. But did I check with the other postings or not?
No, sir.
Yes.
No.
Did I check the other posting?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I did not check the other posting, right? I simply changed the configuration. I tested where the problem is coming. That problem is sorted. I told my user, now please check. Now that entry is posted. Now, no surprise, another user is raising another incident stating, no, my entries are not posted. System is splitting this. It may not be splitting the other entries. Possible or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Possible or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Quite possible. That is where you have to do something called, you would have heard something called regression testing and negative testing. There are different kind of testing.
Yes.
We call it as
Yes.
regression testing, we call it as negative testing.
Yes.
These are supposed to be done. Just like that, you cannot move any configuration to production unless you are very sure about what is the problem. Unless you are very sure about what is the problem, you cannot just like that move the changes. The moment you are moving changes to production means you are overwriting the existing setup. When I say you are overwriting existing setup, I mean to say if there is a problem in the quality, I detected problem in quality. Now I forgot what I did, what was it before. Now I can refer my production to see how it was before making the changes. Possible? You got my point?
Yes, sir. Possible.
There is a change
Yes,
which
sir.
I did in the development system, but I forgot to check properly in development. I tested only one case, but in quality user is asking me to test in a different way, or user is testing both the cases. Now user is getting another error. Now user is telling no, in this case it is not working. Now you forgot what was it before, because you out of curiosity, you thought this is very simple, I configure it. You change the system configuration, you move to quality. Now in quality you encountered a problem. Now if you go back, you do not know how it was before. Agree? Because you did some
Yes.
configuration changes,
Yes, sir.
you would have forgot how it was, what settings were there before, and what changes you made. Now, if you are encountering this problem in quality system, straight away, happily, you can go to production system, open the same screen, look at how settings are there. You will bring back the settings in the development. You will make sure again you will test it properly. Now you are at a safer side or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, SAP.
Right? If I don't do it, straight away I moved changes to production also. In production, errors are coming. Now your client is on your head. It is telling, they are telling that no, this is very urgent. Please fix immediately as soon as possible. Now you do not know what was there before. You changed it. Now everybody is on your head. You are very tensed. You are very nervous. Will you be able to recollect how the settings were there before?
No.
Unless you are sure, unless you are confident, it is not possible. Now you have to always look at your level. When I say you should always look at your level, at what level we are entering the organization, what is our background. Accordingly, you need to act. It's not that I know what is happening. That is the reason when you put a tick, when you remove a tick, there is something called a configuration document. There is something called a testing document. There is something called unit testing, UAT, business confirmation, attach everything, send to basis, move the changes to production. Meaning not any change is just like that happening in the system. Is that correct?
Yes.
Not any change is just like that happening. For every change there is an impact. When we say for every change there is an impact, you have to start understanding the impact. When you are able to understand the impact, only then you will be able to talk different points in a different way to anybody. When you know that this is how things will work, this is how things will happen, it is the same logic everywhere. You take document splitting, you take any other topic, it is the same logic. Meaning anything, any functionality that somebody is frequently asking in the interview, always remember it is not straightforward. It is not just configuration. There is something tricky there. There is something tricky there. Whoever talks in that way to convince the other person, they will only get selected. They will only get jobs. No matter how accurately you talk, you just read the way it is written in SAP help portal. According to SAP, you tell all the definitions, full configuration, still they will reject you because they don't want it. They just wanted to see what is your level of understanding on it. Whether you know how exactly this functionality is used in an organization, in a project, what is your role, what is your responsibility with respect to a consulting activity. And if I am able to recollect, if I am able to realize these points from your explanation, I am fine with you. I don't care whether you are talking about the definition T code, nobody cares about it. Everybody is only concerned about what is the level of understanding you have, at what tone you're talking. Whether what you're talking is practically possible, practically is what a consultant does or not, they will verify. If you're talking the practical things, you will get shortlisted. If not, you will get rejected. That's what is going to happen. Okay, let me stop this here. So what I want everybody to do is you need to write down some accounting entries. Meaning, first point what I want you to do is I want you to write these accounting entries. Let me put some assignment here. This is your assignment number 4. This is all about your accounting entries. First one, debit balance sheet account, credit balance sheet account. Second one, debit balance sheet account, credit P&L account. When I'm talking about it, you'll have to test with 2 line items and also more than 2 line items. Same thing, when I say 2 line items, more than 2 line items, your document splitting is applicable when you have more than 2 line items. That is where you have to talk. Any example that you are giving with 2 line items is invalid. Point number 1, when you're talking about any example with 2 line items, that is invalid. If you're talking about these two, nobody will consider, because You know that the document splitting is applicable or account assignments are applicable straightforward for what? Subledger, correct? Your
Yes.
account assignments are applicable only for, sorry, your account assignments are not applicable for subledger, meaning your document splitting examples are strictly supposed to be subledger posting, meaning you'll have to talk about debit customer, credit your sales. Same thing. Similarly, you have to put debit cash bank, credit customer. I'm just giving examples so that you will have an idea what needs to be tested, what entries you have to list out. Similarly, example number 5, you put debit expense and then credit you put vendor. Point number 6, you put debit vendor and then credit cash in bank. Same thing, you'll have to put with 2 line items, with more than 2 line item. Whenever I'm talking about 2 line items, I'm talking about this entry. 2 line item is just the entry that is listed. If you take this customer account debit, sales account credit is a 2 line item entry. 1 debit, 1 credit, customer is 1 debit, sales is 1 credit. Post the accounting entry, see how profit center is coming. How profit center is coming. When you talk about this example, this will become your active document splitting. Similarly, when you talk about this accounting entry, this will become your passive document splitting. Here you are representing customer receipt, customer payment. Customer payment will look for a preceding document or the connected document called your invoice. From the invoice, system will taking the profit center for performing payment entry or the clearing entry, in which it is going to expect passive document splitting. Similarly, when you are purposefully giving different debit, different credit, system is going to offset debit and credit with the help of zero balance clearing account. Zero balance clearing account. This zero balance clearing account also you need to talk. Now these points, when you're writing, when you're listing out, you need to have a clear-cut examples along with the accounting entry, document type, splitting method, business transaction, item categories, and with the combination of this, with 1 or 2 examples, you'll have to explain. When you're explaining like this in your interviews, nobody will reject you. Nobody will reject you. In fact, you can engage your interviewer for a long time. Instead of talking active splitting, passive splitting, zero balance splitting, within a minute you are done. You will keep quiet. Please ask me some question. Because you're done, you have nothing in your mind now. Whatever the definition, whatever the active passive you know, you all spoke. Nothing left in your mind, everything you spoke. Now, when somebody is asking or when somebody is giving a scenario, when somebody is asking a cross question, you are lost because you have nothing left in your mind, everything you spoke. But instead, you're talking at this level wherein you're taking some example, some scenario, what he or she who's taking your interview will do. Because you're taking an example, they will try to put cross question from what you're talking. Am I correct? If I try to say that when you post an accounting entry wherein you put debit one expense to cost center 1, credit and debit another expense with profit center number 2 and all, you put credit side 1 account, system is not going to split the accounting entry. This is the incident that I received. Before that, I was not aware that this is how document splitting works. With this scenario, I practically understood how document splitting works. Then they might ask, what is the problem in it and how did you solve the problem and how come they are not getting this error before. They'll ask a lot of cross questions from what you're talking. Now, instead of you talking only for 1 minute, you're prolonging the discussion for a couple of more minutes. Agree? Alright, whatever you're talking, from the same point, they're going to put cross question. And if you have a clarity on what you're talking, the example that you're taking, definitely you will be able to make your interaction in a positive way. When I say you will be able to make your interaction in a positive way, they will be under an impression that yes, you have practically faced this scenario and you're talking about your real experience. and that is how you have to represent yourself in the interview on most of the topics, and which is very, very simple. You don't practically have to practice anything. If you understand, if you look at the system, if you are able to relate that this is how system is working, same points as it is, if you are able to talk in a sequential order at a flow, you will see the difference. And these accounting entries I want everybody to write, so that when we move forward, I'll elaborate these accounting entries. I'll write the practical accounting entries. I will show what is entry view, what is general ledger view, how entry will look like before splitting, how entry will look like after splitting, what settings exactly we are talking, what exactly you need to take extract from it, and what exactly you need to explain to your interviewer. What exactly you need to explain to your interviewer within the 2-3 minutes. And every point that you're talking should be a valid point. No definition anywhere, no straightforward configuration anywhere. It has to be in a logical, it has to be in a conceptual manner that you'll have to talk. How you need to talk, I'll be explaining in the next session. Okay, let me stop this here. Refer these examples, whatever I've discussed, and write down these accounting entries, so that in the next session, what I'm going to show, what I'm going to talk will be more easier, will be more practical for you to understand. Then there is no point, there is no problem of getting any confusion, any doubt, any fear about your interviews. All right. So we'll connect at the same time in the next session. Good night.
Thank you so much, Ajay.
Yeah.
Can you share the video immediately?